What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome to my channel. Again, I'm predicting all 133 college football teams this summer. SEC predictions are done, and now Big Ten predictions are done as you take a look at my final Big Ten standing predictions right over here. We'll get to them in a minute, but first I'd like to tell you guys, again, I'm doing all 133 teams. I got 28 teams down, but a lot more are coming, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you know when your favorite team gets a video uploaded. But you can do more than that to help support my channel. You're doing one by watching the video, and you can do more by liking, commenting, subscribing, or sharing. Really anything else you guys can think of to help support my channel would mean a lot to me. So let's get into this, right? The Big Ten standing predictions over here. What are we looking at? Well, you're looking at the Big Ten West, of course, on the west or the left-hand side of the screen, and the Big Ten East on the east-hand side or the right-hand side of the screen. We're going to go kind of do a brief overview of each team, kind of talk about why I have each team where they are. And yeah, let's just go ahead and dive right on into things here, shall we? We're going to start on the left-hand side of the screen with the Big Ten West, and we're going to work bottom up in each division. So starting out with the Northwestern Wildcats, who I got down there as the worst team in the Big Ten at 2-10, 0-9 in conference. Now, I talked about it in my Northwestern video, which actually I think will be uploaded earlier today when this video gets uploaded. But the Northwestern Wildcats are a team that I think can surprise some people this year. I think they have some good pieces. They are returning quite a bit at quarterback as well as getting a transfer in. That defense is returning a lot in the linebacker group. And we've counted Pat Fitzgerald out before, and he's done some amazing things. So Northwestern is a team to keep your eye on, but I still just don't have a lot of faith in the talent level that is there. It didn't show me anything to be excited about last year, maybe bits and pieces. So going in to this year, not too high of expectations for the Wildcat program, that's for sure. The Boilermakers are up there second to last in the Big Ten West. And with Purdue, it's going to be a very interesting team to watch this year. They are getting Hudson Card coming in there, and it's a team that I definitely think can make a bowl game, but you're losing a lot of key valuable pieces on the offensive and defensive ends there as well as getting a new coaching staff coming in there. Now, Ryan Walters, I think, is one of the best young minds in college football, a former defensive coordinator for the Illinois Fighting Illini. But when you look at the Purdue Boilermakers here, I think it's going to take some time to build that program back up. But again, it's a team that absolutely I think can make a bowl game. Nebraska is here. I do have them making their first bowl game in a long while. And the reasoning there is pretty simple. Nebraska's got Matt Rule coming in. He's a very proven head coach at the collegiate level. Did it at Temple, did it at Baylor. Quick 3-year turnarounds. And I think there's a lot more talent here to work with than what he's had in his first years past at Temple and Baylor. There's a lot to work with here at Nebraska, and he's getting a lot of his guys coming in through the portal as well. Jeff Sims, a very Matt Rule system style quarterback. This defense is bringing in some nice talent. This is going to be a very competitive Nebraska team this year. Now, I think it's going to take a little bit for Matt Rule to build this team up to a Big Ten contender. Maybe next year is when you look at things like that for Nebraska. But this year, I think they're going to be a very sound football team and make a bowl game. Illinois here at 4th in the Big Ten West. This team is getting a major upgrade at quarterback. Luke Altmaier is coming in there to be that quarterback transfer over from Ole Miss. And that defense is, I still think, going to be pretty good this year, even without Ryan Walters at DC and with all they lose at secondary. But you're losing Chase Brown, a couple of other pieces. Year 3 under Brett Bielema could be a lot more of a successful one than I am predicting here. But I just got some teams that I feel really, really good about ahead of Illinois, and one of them is Minnesota. Now, early on in my predictions for the Big Ten, I didn't feel too great about the Minnesota Golden Gophers, but as I dug more through, I'm kind of looking at that team like, well, this can be a pretty solid football team entering 2023. Yes, you are losing Tanner Morgan, but Anthony Kaliakmanis, although his numbers are not super eye-popping, can be a really good option. And although you do lose a lot of physicality, I think that's going to be a very good defense. PJ Fleck is a very good head coach. I think he'll have this Minnesota team ready to go. I got him with an 8-4 season. Again, wouldn't be surprised if they fall below that. Wouldn't be surprised if they get a win or two more than what I'm predicting either. I think Minnesota is going to be a very interesting team to watch. I put them at 3rd in the Big Ten West. Iowa is here at 2nd in the Big Ten West. We know the story with the Hawkeyes. There's no way they are going to be as bad of a team offensively as they were last year. They just added too much through the portal to do that. Cade McNamara is coming in at quarterback, presumably will be that starter. When you take a look at some other pieces they added former Michigan tight end Eric All. He's going to be a really good player for them. They already got some great contributors in the wide receiver and running back room as well. And that defense, even though they do lose a lot of NFL caliber talent, Lucas Van Ness, Riley Moss, among some other names, that defensive expectation has not changed in Iowa. They expect to be a top level defense year in and year out. I think they will be. Again, the offense may hold them back a tiny bit this year because, again, there really is not a lot of superstar power there. But the Hawkeyes are going to be a really good football team this year. I got them finishing second in the Big Ten West. Wouldn't surprise me to see them win the West as well, but I'm really high on what Luke Fickell has in Madison right now with the Wisconsin Badgers. It's going to be a little bit of a different system offensively in Madison this year because you have Tanner Mordecai coming in and he can really sling the football all over the field. He's a tremendous quarterback and is going to put up big quarterback numbers here in Madison. He's got a lot to work with in the pass catching room. His running back is Braylon Allen and Ches Malusi. Got some really good pieces there. That defense, even though they are losing their defensive coordinator, you got a defensive-minded coach in Luke Fickell coming in and a lot of great talent there. Wisconsin, I think, is going to be really good, and I have them winning the Big Ten West here in 2023. So moving on to the Big Ten East, you got Rutgers and Indiana down there at the bottom. And I'm going to kind of compile them into one because it's kind of the same conversation for me with those two teams. Maybe the head coach they have right now is right for the job, but they need some more time. Right? Rutgers is sort of trying to build up. The quarterback situation is going to be interesting there for them, but they are losing a lot of playmakers on both sides of the ball. And I think it's going to take a little more time for Rutgers to start really competing here in the Big Ten Conference. And then as far as Indiana goes, they are losing a lot of talent. Now, while they do bring in, I think it's something like 21 or 22, maybe 23 transfers, if not more, Indiana's losing a lot of very talented pieces coming in. And I don't know that what they are bringing in is as talented as what is coming out, if that makes any sort of sense. And quarterback play could hold them back this year, much like it could with the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. So those are the bottom two teams I got in the Big Ten East. Maryland is here at 5th in the Big Ten East, just with tiebreakers and everything. It's how it worked out. But don't get me wrong on this Maryland team. This is a sleeper team in 2023 with Taulia Tagovailoa there at quarterback. They're returning their top 2 leading rushers from last season. There is a lot of good pieces coming in that wide receiver room, even though they do lose some very talented options as well. The defense is the conversation with Maryland here, right? This team would not surprise me if they go 8-4, 9-3 on their offense alone. But defense, I feel like, is going to hold them back from winning some games that I think their offense otherwise is going to be very, very competitive in. And that defense is losing a lot on the defensive front 7. So Maryland, to me, not going to shock me if this team is a lot better record-wise than what I'm predicting, maybe by a win or 2. So watch out for Maryland in 2023. They could spoil some things for some people in the Big Ten Conference. Michigan State is here at 4th in the Big Ten East. Again, just how things worked out. I think Maryland is a better team than Michigan State, but tiebreaker-wise, I do have Michigan State beating Maryland in the regular season. And defensively, I think Michigan State has got a lot of very nice pieces. They're returning a lot of very nice production from last season. But offensively, it's a lot of a big mystery for what this Michigan State team is going to go through, right? Who's going to end up being the quarterback in that, or who's going to end up being the quarterback in East Lansing? Who's going to step up in place of Jaden Reed and Keon Coleman? And while you have Jalen Berger at running back, his numbers were not as eye-popping as Kenneth Walker's were in 2021. Maybe he does something to really jumpstart those numbers there. Michigan State's got too many offensive questions for me. I think somehow, some way, this team does end up making a bowl game, but I got them sitting 4th here in the Big Ten East. Now, the top 3 teams in this division are pretty set and clear. These are 3, I should say, of the top maybe 5 teams in the entire nation, according to a lot of people, including myself. If you've seen my top 25 poll, these are 3 really talented teams. I got Penn State sitting there at 3rd in the division. Now, I've said that Penn State is a year away, and I know they're going to lose a lot next year, but focusing on what they have this year, this is a legit team, right? Drew Aller is coming in at quarterback. He's going to be a very, very good player for them. They got one of, if not the best running back room in the entire country. In fact, you could say that for all these top 3 teams here. Penn State's got a legit defense this year, loaded with talent top to bottom. They've got one of the best offensive lines in the entire country. Penn State is going to be a very legit, very competitive team in 2023, but I do have them falling to the two teams below them, to the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines. Let's talk about Ohio State for a little bit coming into 2023. Ohio State is a team that when you take a look top to bottom, they've got one of the best offenses in the country, no matter who that quarterback is, because the rest of the offense is just so good. Again, Travion Henderson, Mayan Williams, one of the best running back rooms in the entire country. They've got the top, if not the top two wide receivers in the country, with one of the most loaded wide receiver rooms in the nation in 2023. But a lot of the question for Ohio State, and it's been that way for the past couple years, hinges on the defense. My belief, this Ohio State Buckeye defense is going to be better in 2023, and it even made a lot of strides and improvements, and defense helped win them some games last year, which really was not part of the conversation in years past for this Ohio State team. So defensively, I think they're going to improve no matter who plays quarterback. They've got one of the best offenses in the country, but I think they fall short to their rival for the third straight year in the Michigan Wolverines, and I think this is just a great perfect storm for the Wolverines this year. You've got a lot of talent on defense. I think this wide receiver room is underrated. It's getting a little criticism on whether or not it's where it needs to be to go win a national championship. I think it's going to be a lot better than some people may think. The running back room is loaded, could be, and probably, in my opinion, is the best running back room in the entire country, with Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. J.J. McCarthy is that quarterback there. This Michigan team is loaded top to bottom. They're going to have, again, one of the best offensive lines in the entire country. Michigan, I have going 12-0, undefeated. I think it's going to be a very, very good football team. Not saying Ohio State and Penn State are. I just think Michigan is going to be better than both of them. I think they're going to walk their way into Indianapolis again to face the Wisconsin Badgers. So Big Ten predictions are done. We're going to move on to the Pac-12 next. It's a very interesting conference for next year, but any last thoughts on the Big Ten conference you guys can put in the comment section below. I appreciate all your guys' views and support and everything on the channel these past couple of weeks. It's meant a lot. And remember to play hard but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys when we start the Pac-12 tomorrow. Goodbye.